In this video, I'm going to go over the enrichment problem of the day. And for this problem, it says if each letter represents a different non-zero digit, what must the letter Z be? Now, in a problem like this, you can always do guess and check, and by brute force and persistence, you'll eventually get to a solution. But for this problem, I like to try to see if there's a way that I can use some sort of logical thinking to make the process a little quicker. And the first thing that I notice in this problem is that we have x, y, and z. We got three different variables. But if I'm looking at this straight up and down this direction, I have x plus y plus z, I get z. And then right next to it, I have x plus y plus z, and I get y. So that tells me right away, because I have the same addends right here as I do right here, that tells me that there's going to be some carrying, some regrouping that's going to happen here that's going to change the sum here from z to y. And the next thing that I think of is that the sum of this problem is a three-digit number. So I'm curious, what is the maximum that x could possibly be? Well, even if, let's say we have 99 plus 99 plus 99, which we could not do because x, y, and z are all different. Even if we had that, the maximum we would have would be 297. So that tells me that x has to either be 1 or 2, because in the problem it says it has to be a non-zero digit. And the next thing I'm going to look at is I'm just going to look at just this ones place column right here. And I'm going to look at what is the maximum that I could possibly have in this column. Well, the maximum for x is 2, and the maximum for y and z are either 8 and 9 or 9 and 8. It doesn't really matter what order I do them. Let's do 9 and 8. And if I add all that up, 9 plus 8 is 17, plus 2 more is 19. So the maximum I could possibly get right here in this ones column is 19. Of course, I can't put 19 in the ones column, so that means the absolute most I could have there is 19, which means I'm always going to be carrying a 1 there. That's the absolute most I could carry. I could not carry a 2. So I'm going to erase this because I've now figured some things out. I've now determined that the largest number that's going to be carried to the tens place is a 1. I figured out that x is either a 1 or a 2. The next thing I can figure out is that because the most we're carrying is a 1, that tells me that the y and z are only 1 apart. Because that's the only thing that I've changed from here and here, is this 1 that I carried. So now that I know that y and z are 1 digit apart, I just need to test some different combinations so that I end up getting a 2-digit number that's in the teens, that second digit, the ones digit of that 2-digit number, will end up being the same ones digit as the z right here. And because we're adding 1 to the same addends as right here, and we're getting y, that tells me that y is going to be 1 more than z. So y will be the larger digit. So now I think I'm ready to go ahead and test some possible solutions. So let's say that x is equal to 1, y is equal to 6, and z is equal to 5. We would have 6 plus 5 plus 1, which the sum of that would be 12, which would mean z, again, we're down in the solution, would have to be a 2, and 2 and 5 are still 3 digits apart. So that tells me that we need y and z to be larger. So let's try x being 1 again, y being, let's do 8, and z being 7. That sum, 8 plus 7 plus 1, is now 16. So notice that z, which would then be 6 down here, and 7 right here, we're getting much closer. We were at 5 and 2, now we're at 7 and 6. So let's try 1, 9, and 8. 1 plus 9 plus 8 is 18. And in that combination, z is 8. And down here, what we're going to leave is also 8. And we're going to carry a 1 up to here. So we've found a combination of digits that will work for the ones place. The question is this combination going to work for the tens place? And if it isn't, if it doesn't work for the tens place, that tells us that x probably isn't 1, x is probably 2. So let's test to see if it works for the tens place. So in the tens place, we would have 1 plus 9 plus 8, which is still 18, plus 1 more, which would give us 19. So that means that the y here would be 9, which it is correct. That's what our y should be. And because this was 19, we're going to carry 1 up to here, so that would mean x would be 1, and that's what x is. So we have found our solution. X is 1, y is 9, z is 8.